There have been 8 Spider-Man movies in the last 20 years. Some of them have been really good, and some have been really bad. Shout out Ghost Man. The 8 live-action Spider-Man movies can be split into 3 different eras. The Tobey Maguire movies, the Andrew Garfield movies, and the Tom Holland movies. First up, the Tobey Maguire movies. But first, a quick history lesson. In 1985, Marvel sold the film rights to Spider-Man to Columbia Pictures for $7 million. In 1999, Sony, which owned Columbia Pictures, decided to make a Spider-Man movie with Sam Raimi as their director, and our boy Tobey Maguire as our Spider-Man, Kristen Dunst as Mary Jane, James Franco as Harry Osborn, and the villain in the movie, J.K. Simmons, would play J. Jonah Jameson, and the villain would be the Green Goblin, played by Willem Dafoe. The movie was released on May 3rd, 2002, $821 million at the box office, and has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 90 from critics. Now, what do I think of Spider-Man 1? It's a pretty good movie. Willem Dafoe is good as Green Goblin. Tobey Maguire kills it as Spider-Man. Looks a little bit dated. It looks really fake sometimes in the action scenes. But I mean, that's just because the technology wasn't as good. I mean, yeah, good job all around. Good job, Sony. The things that make this an iconic Spider-Man movie. Cliff Robertson, who plays Ben Parker, delivers the line elegantly, and Willem Dafoe's performance as Green Goblin. Spider-Man 1 is a good origin story. On to Spider-Man 2. For Spider-Man 2, the cast stays the same, except they add Alfred Montoya to play Dr. Octavius. Now, before we go into whether I like the movie or not, Spider-Man 2 made $789 million at the box office and got a 73% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics. Spider-Man 2 is my favorite Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. It might be my favorite Spider-Man movie overall. It is good action and a good villain. And it doesn't have the villain doesn't have a completely bad plan, just kind of silly. Montoya makes a good villain because he's able to make you feel bad for him because you know that he's a good man on the inside. He has become villainous not because of his own free will, but because of the machines controlling him now. So Spider-Man 2, it's a good movie. Good job, Sony. Now before we get into this not so great movie, it made $895 million at the box office and got a 59% rating on Rotten Tomatoes from critics. Spider-Man 3 is horrible because they always are trying to introduce new characters. They have to introduce Venom and Sandman. It's just a terribly bloated movie with no character.